My back is a little bit sore. I think I slept poorly on the back. But I think I'll be okay. I get on a randomized song playlist going on here. Hold on one second, guys. I don't like this either. I need something good. Hold on. It would just be peaceful. Sounds okay. Just some piano music or something. My back is kind of not feeling good. I know this is a pretty drastic vibe shift, but it had to be done, friends. Also, I didn't even check the thickness on this. Right here on the bottom. Mark here. Mark there. And mark there. That'll be good. Up. Alright. congested today. Now that I'm gonna bring it down there. Finally flatten that down enough. A little bit more. Take this side. Gimbal. And then gotta do one thing. I gotta turn this program on. Close in. I'm gonna bring my coffee over here too. This way you guys can see more close up what I'm doing here. Okay. Again, I'm gonna start from this top edge, pushing down, slow down the wheel a little bit. And then it's almost like you catch the ridge. You just kind of peel that ridge down like an onion. See that? I can create kind of like a nice spot there, but we're gonna pick this up and we're just gonna test the thickness here, right? Because usually you don't get it right on your first time, right? So I'll say I still can bring up a lot more. I can even still bring this up, but right here is where I'm gonna make my marks, right? So those are just little physical indicators. You know, mine means something to me, but you can make indicators however way you like. For me, I think it's important that you kind of create some sort of way to test, right? That makes sense to you. I don't think it's necessarily all about doing it like with your nail, making those marks there, but that just kind of informs me what I need to trim away, right? Some people can do a memory, some people can hit their piece and do it by sound. You know, there's a lot of different ways to do it, you know. It's just the way that I think helps me out. Alright, again. Side here. One more. Alright. Again, I'm gonna keep this all kind of collapsed together there. closer, right? So we're not being afraid to just lift this up and say, how's it going? You know, we can take a little bit more off, right? Still right about to there. And then here, I can still thin out this a little bit too. So. You know, I'm just gonna work on this bottom edge here, just trying to make sure I get this the way that I like. We'll see now. Oh, perfect. I just like the way that the foot ring looks too. You know, it's sizable. You know, something I think about is, you know, I imagine the foot ring is a little bit less than another foot ring. Not about half, but I feel like if you're within that range of almost having another foot ring on each side, I feel like you're getting like that's a really high contrast between foot and form, right? It's like it could be a band, foot and form. Anyway, I like this one. Isn't that nice? Alright, next. We'll do the driest one next. This guy here. This guy's pretty dry. Alright, so we're making our nail marker. We got one there. We got one at the foot there. And that's it. The one's pretty much in line with that whole entire little takedown there. Okay. Let's just start going at it. Okay. Roll this around, push this down. Roll this around and push this down. Here we go. You ready? And we have our little markers here. I already know I'm gonna have to take a lot below this. So let's just start and just take a lot of this off. Take some of that off. Now we know that we're gonna have to take some of this top rim off too. Let's start right here. Just bring this straight down. Okay, now let's just test thickness. So again, we're just trying to place our thickness in first. We got some meat that we can get rid of here. It's actually pretty spot on. Can bring this in a lot more. It'll end right about at the same spot the foot is at. Yeah, wow. Pretty close. Hi, Demon. Very nice piece. Thank you. I appreciate it. These ones, I'll tell you a little bit about these things. So, the last thing I do on these, after I get my cylinder piece, I go out on the outside with a rib, right? And I kind of, when I meet this sort of shoulder, then I turn it and I cut it in, right? And then I see that it's starting to flare out again, and then I'll turn it, cut it in, right? So I create these layers. My favorite part about it is this sort of almost deckled edge, and then these little lines that you see here, right? You see these nice little lines there, and you can kind of see some right here too, but I kind of like that about it. So the nice part is once I clean up the foot really nice, it emphasizes some of those shapes. So that's kind of the thinking behind that. Some of these forms. Some of them are just smooth boys, you know. I think I'm gonna terracige these ones, but I'm not sure actually. terracage some of these. Not all of them though. The sad thing is I won't have them done this week, which will be a little bit unfortunate. I make some of these for my students, actually. Across the top edge here too. Bring down. I actually wish I would have flared this out a little bit. That was my bad. I made a mistake. I've really enjoyed watching your shorts with the glazed vessels. They're very beautiful and very unique. Thank you. I have so many that I have to get through. I think I've done 18 of them so far. I got like 130 to do. So I gotta just get back on to making those and post them daily, but I've been trying to edit some other stuff too. So I'll try to keep up with that. I kind of want to just do like just get them all done and then just post them all and just be done with it, because I'm trying to pace myself and slow down, because I think like this idea of like just like throwing them all out there isn't really helpful for my channel, you know. But sometimes it's just annoying for me to like look and edit the same thing. Like in my mind, that project's already been done. Like I just wanted to put it to rest. So having to like go back and revisit it and like talk about the things, and it's just kind of like I'm already sick of the project, you know. actually will be able to taper this in a little bit, which I'm actually excited about, so we'll do that now. That's my clay fall forward here. That looks kind of nice. I'm trying to do the market route, but I mean, it's hard to, it's really hard to find the time to do that stuff. Man, it's really difficult. I feel like, I don't know how some people like literally can do that, the market route full time. It's crazy. I feel like I've never, it seems like they can just sell anything, you know, like when I talk about the market people, like it just seems like it's so easy for them to sell things. Their only problem is like having inventory, right? I'm telling you right now, I would have zero problem maintaining an inventory on things. But it's the selling the things that's just the hard part, you know? It just takes time. But we'll do it slowly but surely. Plus, I'm still testing a lot of ideas. But we'll see. And sometimes, like, I kind of still have this, like, hope to do, like, these, gallery stuff, you know? So, sometimes, like, when I look at some of the pieces, I think in my mind, like, oh, like, this is one that I want to have in a show or something, you know? And so, sometimes I don't want to get rid of certain ones just because of that. Got to flatten this out more. Yeah. I don't know, it seems like all the potters that I talk to, they all have places where they can sell things. You know what I mean? And like they know where they can sell things. Me, I just have no idea where I can sell things. You know, I don't know how to do that stuff. It's a little difficult for me. And then I think too, I'd be a little bit of angry about just like the talking with people, like the whole like bartering thing. I think it's just not what I like, you know. I really have to work on that. It's a hard thing for me to do. It can actually be a little bit more. I can take a little bit more weight right off the shoulder. And if I want to, I could go a little bit lower. Don't mess with it too much more. Probably a lot of your followers would love an online shop. I mean, I think I have a plan here coming up um, that I got to get done sometime in the next week and a half. And if I get that project started, I'll probably do some weird Shopify thing for it, just for that project though. Alright, I think I like that. Just a little bit extra on this bottom part that we had to do, right? Just really like the contrast and form in some of these. One of my favorite things is as you rotate the object, do you see how light hits it in different ways? Right? Like right here, there's like a shadow, a darker shadow, and then an abyss, right? But then there's a highlight right along the foot, right? Then I lift it up like this. All of a sudden now it's dark, 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 and then boom, boom, two banks of light, right? I love seeing these little patterns and um, like moments, I guess I would call them, of how light interacts with form there, you know? What time is it right now? Alright, we're still cruising. Ooh, there's gonna be this thick, a lot of clay here, a lot of clay. I want to try to keep this foot as wide as I can on this one. I think it'd be kind of nice. Well, that was actually bad that I left that open like this. Hold on. Is this stuff dried out? No, that's still okay. One of these days I'm gonna have to move these, which is gonna be a nightmare. But we'll do it. It's gonna be okay. It will be okay. I think my biggest thing with moving those panels is gonna be like lining all the borders with a bunch of clay to keep them still. Use plaster in my damp boxes. Yeah, I coat the bottoms with plaster. I've been thinking about going thinner with the plaster because my biggest problem is now is you have to make the plaster thick enough in the damp box that if you put pieces on it and you like kind of throw it around that it's not gonna break the plaster, right? So then you have to make them thick, right? So that they don't break like that. Well, then it adds to the weight of it. So my biggest thing now is like, I want to get the plaster thinner, and I was like, okay, how can I get it thinner? Oh, well, what if I put a coat hanger, embed a coat hanger into the plaster, and so that's going to be my next series of them. I think I'm going to make them thinner with a coat hanger on the inside of it. It might cause some weird rusting to happen, but I feel like I'm not really too worried about that. I could use plastic too, I guess. Like I could do like a plastic, like 3D print plastic bracings for it. How tall this foot is on this one. Okay. Go even more. And we can even start taking off material up from here. More down, and then take off more material on the side. You'll see a lot of people, they'll use like a ton of clay on the bottom here, right? You should never really be having to have the clay here keep your piece down, right? I should say that that's the goal at least, right? You want to be able to have like pressure that's pushing away from the object and pressure that's pushing towards the finger that's pushing away from the object, right? And if you do that, then you have no pressure going towards the center of the clay, right? And it's literally just on the edge that you're cutting material off of. Does that make sense? Even here, like I'm using my thumb and my thumb's pushing away as my hand is pushing towards the thumb that's pushing away. And then that's how I reduce any tension that's put onto the vessel, so it's less likely to snag and grab, right? I think a lot of times too, you'll just feel the way that it's going to be cut, really, you know. Up. My finger's pushing away, and my hand's pushing down. And again, we find this little cutted line. We'll slow it down a little bit. Yes. Going across. The key with flattening this spot is that you want to cut it in a way that your tool isn't bobbing up and down. So towards this center here, it started to bob a little bit, right? So I'm going to start again. I'm trying to make sure that my tool doesn't bob up and down. And as soon as I get an even line, now I've separated that rim off from that center point, and then now I can cut this whole center out. Makes sense, right? pretty soft on this inside stuff here, so we gotta be careful. I already feel like I'm too thin on the bottom. Let's check. Oh, we're not. Wow. Okay. Sweet, we're pretty dang close. I was getting a little bit nervous, to be honest. I felt like it was sinking, but I was wrong. Also, how are these side thickness? It's really just this foot that needs to be brought down more, huh? Okay. I think having it taper inwards is going to be the move here, actually. This one's done. I don't even want to touch it. Sheesh. There's kind of like a line here, but I'm not gonna worry about it and keep them separated. Oh, man. We have to touch it. It's so sad. I wanted to be done. I wanted to be done. It's okay. Oh, wait a second. Alright, I think this will be good. I really like the way that this foot ring is kind of coming in a little bit when it gets to the bottom. Do you guys kind of see that? It like arches inwards a little bit. It makes the piece feel like cartoonish to me almost. What time is it now? Oh, okay, we still got time. Hey, joining from Sweden today. Glad I can make it. Sweden, yo. Wow. I forgot that, like, Europe, you can, like, drive in a car for, like, an hour and be in a different country. It's kind of wild. Isn't there a good train system, too? Can't you just take the train everywhere if you wanted? Not sure, though. Right. Because Sweden is behind the sea, but yeah, Europe, you can go most places by car or train. I feel like where I'm at in the US, there is a train nearby, but it only goes to like a couple different places. And I feel like I never have time anyway to like travel around, you know? But I can imagine train would be like really satisfying to just like sit on a train and not have to drive. You know, I would just like grab my like Game Boy or something and I'll just like play on the train as I'm just chilling. Play this. There's this game on the Game Boy Color. It's called Hollywood Pinball. Yo, be Hollywood pinballing it up on the train for real. I still think I can bring this bass in a little bit here. Yeah, well, let's see. I know I gotta get more off. I heard train is horrible in the US. Also, traveling is about seeing other cultures. Gotta go far to get that in the US. Yeah. I would say that it's a little bit of both, right? Because I think that US, there's like a lot of micro cultures going on, right? Like, I feel like you're always like one street away from like a place where like a group of people from a culture kind of like ended up, right? Like you always have like German towns, Italian towns, like Middle Eastern towns. You kind of get like every little flavor of person, but you don't get it in like a large swooping thing like if you were to travel to the country, right? But you can still interact with all sorts of different people. So I feel like that's kind of cool about US, but the train situation, yeah, it's not the best, I would say. You know, like there's some trains that are really good, but it there were only they're only good to go to certain places. That's it, you know. Mm. Traveling to US is different in different places, yes, but once you travel the world, you know how similar it still is to in similar it is in the US. Yeah, I guess that's true. I haven't traveled that much, so I'll default to your position on it. Dun, dun, mm. Let's check this. I think that pretty sure that public transit like that wasn't a priority for US because they wanted like our highway system was all military, like an idea for military travel and transport, right? I remember seeing somebody talking about that and like explaining why our roads the way they are. And also, if you get if you make an infrastructure where everybody has to buy a car, now the industry revolves around what's it called, making cars available for people, right? So there's like, I think that's why there was such a huge automotive presence in U.S. for a little bit. I don't know if it was a scam, but it definitely doesn't seem totally unbiased, the reason that we don't have public transit. Anyway, um, I shouldn't say that we don't, because like, for example, like you go into a lot of the cities, depending on the city, there's pretty good. You can get around pretty good, you know. But it just seems like when you look at all the other countries in the world, they got it like down to science. Yeah, I always feel kind of like it feels so weird when like my friends start talking about cars and stuff because I don't really care about that. I always feel like the most non-American American. You know, I'm not really into like the whole football thing, like American football. I'm not into cars. I'm not into drinking. I'm not into um not really into like rock or a lot of like classic American music. Not into rap. I'm not into, I'm just not into a lot of like really, I'm not into dressing well, like fashion, American fashion. I'm not really into any of that. I'm getting a little bit thin here, so I gotta be careful. So I picked up there. Too much across pressure. Just making sure I'm feeling this thickness out here. I gotta still thin out some of that thickness there. I can start smoothing everything out. You are a bit iconoclastic, though, meaning being against. Thank you for knowing that I'm not going to understand what that means. And you just explained it. It's hilarious. Oh, man. I took. You're going to really make fun of me for this, yo. I took a countries, like, name all the countries test, right? And I got like a 28% on it out of the whole world. I got 28%. I was so sad. My friend got 48, dude. It was crazy. But meaning being against something because it's popular, no matter if it actually is good or not. That's so funny. Yeah, I am like that a little bit. I didn't know that's what the word is for it though. I know that word is like being like a non-bandwagoner, you know. Down on this side, and this down on this side. Oh, I already got that down. Okay. we go. Smooth this out slowly. Okay. No, you're right. 25% of the world's countries is pretty good. Did you have place them or just name them? That's all I had to do is just name them. So it's not. It's really. It was actually pretty bad. I was so. And the worst part is, I thought I was in a nail. I thought I was in a nail Europe. Yo, Europe is complicated. Y'all got so many like countries like tucked away. Dude, it is crazy. I feel like my worst country was Europe and Africa. I did pretty decent with South America. Well, it makes sense, you know what I mean? But like you got a country called Warsaw, right? Is that a country? I remember seeing Warsaw. Do you know anybody from Warsaw? Am I wrong? Doesn't that not seem like it'd be a city in Poland? Wait, why did it say Warsaw then? Oh. Was it Poland has a weird history though, because it was like country not country, country not country like 50 times it seems like. You guys got all sorts of like little hidden things in there. Maybe you had to name the capitals? No. Maybe there's another. What is there another country that starts with W in Europe? I remember having a W. And it was so funny. I forgot that there was a country called Georgia, right? And I was like, when I saw that, I was like, what the heck? Georgia? We got Georgia. Not the same Georgia though. But yeah, Europe and then Africa. I was so surprised. I thought I'd like know a lot of countries in Africa, but I don't. Mm. Oh yeah. Oh, dude, I can't even believe I forgot about that. That would have been an easy one for me to remember. Yeah, I do remember you talking about that. Also, one of the countries that I didn't get in South America was Chile. I forgot about Chile. Also, all those like Polynesian countries, I totally didn't get. Like all of those little islands and stuff next to Australia. Yo, I don't think I got a single one of those ones. I'm gonna bring this in, I think. Holy smokerinos. So, actually, let go of that pretty good. You can get like almost any distortion. You gotta be careful though. They probably wouldn't know. I wouldn't know the EU states. What do you mean the EU states? My one friend got them all right. But he was practicing, so I feel like it doesn't count if you practice. You know what I mean? Like, did you really know them, or did you have to, like, you're gonna know them for like 3 months and then forget them again? You said, don't know. Yeah, I didn't know any of them. Like, I think one of them is literally Fiji, right? Is a country, right? I literally thought Fiji was just a bottle of water in a mountain. Like the mountain I thought was Fiji. I remember in like the 90s or something, like or it seemed like 90s, early 2000s, like Fiji was like, oh, I'm gonna go to Fiji. You know, like it was like the place to go. Like I remember seeing it in like TV shows. You know what the sad thing is? There's this game called Civilizations, right? That has like a majority of these countries in it, and I love playing that game. And I forgot some of the countries. There's a group, there's these two potters. I think I've probably mentioned them on the stream before. But they went around the world, and that's all they did was just did pottery demonstrations together. Shoji Hamada and Bernard Leach. It's pretty cool, you know. They literally went around the world to just talk about pottery with different people. If I ever get to do that, I'll go to some of those island countries like Indonesia. Civilizations as a geography teaching tool is pretty dope. I think any Paradox game, Crusader Kings for example, is even better since it actually is rooted in history. Yeah, I feel like my thing is I like some of those games that are like those managing games. I feel like it's pretty cool. I always like to see like the world wonders and stuff in that game. I also think it's kind of cool that, like, for example, like you'll get to see like different like units that you get in the game are like real life, you know, and they'll give like a little tidbit on it in their description. Pretty cool game, actually. I think in the grand scheme of games, that's one that I think everybody can agree on is like there's not a whole lot of bad coming from that game, you know. Underneath. I feel like I was really close to being one of those kids who's really into like history and war, you know? I think there was a time where I was like really consuming a lot of like war games, and like I was watching tons of videos on that. I don't know, I just kind of fell out of interest. But especially some like old written accounts of certain wars are pretty interesting to hear about. Especially, I think in France there's something like there's like some some rebellion in France in like the 1600s or something where like they set a bunch of people on fire or something. I'll have to look this up. Some crazy thing, but okay. We actually kind of like this. This looks good. I mean, ideally I should trim up to this rim here. But again, we're not even going to worry about that. Look at this. Really, I love this vessel. Icon. Icon. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Sorry. Like 50 things just happened. Alright. What time is it now? We got a couple more we can do. We need a little bit of a vibe shift, you think? I really like this vessel. I actually watched a video recently on European anvils. There's like this dude in maybe it's in France. He has like thousands and thousands of anvils at like this abandoned castle that he owns or whatever. He got these anvils are like from all over the world. He had them like shipped in. And I think he has like one of the largest anvils made or something. Pretty cool. I get that there was times where that sort of industry was just like everywhere, you know? If you like stuff like that in history, there's a BBC documentary of a castle that's being built in France, and it's done like back when it's on YouTube 5 parts, and it goes over everything. Yes, also Pottery. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll look at that. I'm actually not into the history of pottery that much, believe it or not. I feel like I'd be more interested in the castles than the pottery stuff. I can trim this all the way up to here, really. I guess I can bring it down to this too, and I can bring it up from there. There's no modern tools. Yeah, and I've seen videos kind of similar. Then there's a guy who does that somewhere. I think it's in like Kansas. He like built his own castle using no modern tools. He started when he was like really young. Just kind of crazy to think about. Yeah, that sounds awesome. I can't imagine how, like, for example, like laying stone works. I cut like half of this off. I don't want to do that. Oh, look at that. It's actually amazing. I believe it. You know, I always talk about how I can hear clay. These people can literally, they talk to rocks and they can like feel where the rock is trying to place itself. Like they're probably that in tune with it. Especially in a time where I feel like you like specialize into just like one thing. Yeah. I guess you're saying it's modern though, but I even feel like today, like people who like specialize, I'm always kind of surprised by that, what they know, you know? It's like I watch these like, there's like these dudes from Africa or something, and they're like hunting something, right? And this video goes on to say like the guy who was like shooting video was like just running with these dudes for like 50 miles or something, and then they just came up and then they knew exactly where the like this animal that they're trying to get was, right? Or they knew exactly where a certain herb or something was, you know? So it's just kind of crazy how good people get at stuff when they have to rely on it, you know? And at the end of 3 really long days of trying to get a kiln working in damp weather, they finally got it, fired some roof tiles, and they all gathered around the kiln making music and eating. Wow. You gotta be a part of that? That's exciting. You carving into some tiles then? I thought about making a tile recently. No, you saw a documentary? Oh, okay. Maybe they were the Maasai. Maasai, yeah. No, I don't know. But it was really interesting because they were saying that the younger generation, like these guys were saying that they they don't know how to do the things that they can do, because these guys were probably like a little bit older, right? And they would talk about, they were talking about how there used to be animals everywhere, and how much it's changed since they were young, you know? So it's just kind of interesting to hear like that similar sentiment echoed all around the world, right? It's like there's like a bunch of knowledge that in a couple of years is just going to be like lost. Yeah, and it makes you think like how many things were lost to time, you know? Yeah, you'd be surprised on how many like things are learned when you're really young, you know? I feel like a lot of times too, I'm always surprised. Like, wait, hold on. Look at this. Like that. Really like the foot on this one. Almost looks like a lid for a jar, like became a cup. Kind of funny looking. I like this one though. I think it's those weird ones that I appreciate the most, to be honest. Alright. There we go. And another little notch here. Here we go. There we go. Roll this up here. I'm gonna trim this down. Underneath. There we go. Alrighty. I don't think we can understand many things fully. Life is not one of them. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know what understanding something fully means, I guess. I would say fully understand how to breathe, right? Like that's being out of nature and learn to, it really helps hone the skill. I think everything is learned, like really learned, when you're a kid, you know? I think like in your first 5 years of life, I feel like it defines a lot of like everything, right? So if like you learn something when you're like 5 years old or like less, I feel like that's something that you will fully feel how it works, right? Like maybe you can't like explain it fully, right? But I feel like some people just feel it, you know? It's like I'll go up like north you know? And then I'll be like, these people talk to me about uh, like smoking fish, right? And I've never heard of like smoked fish before, and then they'll tell me all sorts of things on it and how like they they just like their dads been taught them to do it when they were like 2, and you know now they're just like masters at it, you know? Like I feel like those people can understand things fully. But then again, there's a lot of people who like will learn a language, right? A lot older. I just think it's harder as you get older to do that stuff. How to breathe, maybe. To know how to oxygen. So how much understanding is there then really? Oh, yo, I gotta tell me if you think this is a valid counter, right? Like, is understanding the the science of something more important than understanding the feeling, right? Because there's like those breathing like Indian breathing techniques, right? Like in India, there's some like I forget what the breathing technique is called, right? But they would say that you could literally control your mind with like certain breathing techniques. So maybe they understood breathing more. They might have not understood like H2O, oxygen, the atmosphere, yada yada, right? But they understood how they can use breathing to change their brain chemistry to have them like incite a certain like mindset or something, you know? You know what I mean? That's what I mean when I say I don't understand. Like fully, I feel like it's a difficult word for my brain to comprehend. Love the word fickle. You guess breathing techniques are even better when they're based in science and explained that way. Work without it, which say why. I say it's fickle. Huh. Yeah, I feel like at some level though, like when you try to define it, right? You're looking for the definition rather than understanding the feeling of it. You know? I feel like those are two different things. The way your mind understands and the way your body understands is different, right? I see at least my anecdotal evidence for that is like I can tell people to throw a certain way, you know, 100 times, but they won't understand it until they feel that same feeling, right? It's not about, you know, no amount of me telling them about like the way clay particles align or like how the wheel spinning where your tool should be, like, or when you're throwing that feeling of clay, you know? I feel like that's really a different thing, you know? So I think there's two forms of learning, the body and the mind. The body and the mind. Breathing is an automatic function, therefore it comes naturally. I don't know though. I'm telling you, there's different ways to breathe, right? And I think even depending on how you breathe, right? Like it can change the way that your face grows, like your facial structure goes. Some things get worse with explanation. True. Jokes and maybe love. These are the worst. Listen, explanation. Yeah, I feel like I don't really do good with jokes or the love thing, so I don't explain either of those things. I'll stick to just me making things, you know? I always like to know how something works. I guess that's true. I feel like I'm not much of a science brain kind of person. I don't really know. I'm a no brain kind of person. I'm gonna bring this down and I'm gonna lift this up and test it. Ooh, okay, this is pretty light. I guess I can bring it up a little bit here. And we can bring it down, but this is actually perfect. Okay. Good? Alright, ka-chow. 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 I gotta fix that. I thought it would be cool if they had them on the same thing, but maybe I have to have two inputs for the same command, but different words. Am I gonna keep this texture? I'd say probably not. Yeah, probably not on this one. These ones, I think I want to give the opportunity to do terracage on, so I kind of want these all to be smooth boys, a lot of smooth pots. So then I can get them to kind of look waxy with the terracage on it, you know. That's my goal. All right. That'll be okay. I'm glad you can stop the edits playing now. Imagine us having to sit through it when you called it on accident. Yeah. Well, that's because I redid the whole entire streaming setup, like the whole background and stuff. You can see this is getting pretty uneven here. Okay. This one, I think, this was one where it was getting a little bit thin when I was throwing it. I feel like this whole entire base is actually just uneven. So I think our goal is just to leave it as is. Just make it really thin. It's pretty fun to lift up. I think this should be okay. Realistically, I think I went a little bit This one's not that great, to be honest. Water down. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more to do. Do I got this? I don't know if I got the time. Really kind of wanted to be done with these. I think with the thing with these ones too is that I want to be able to Alright, this is gonna look way better. Yeah, this one's way better. This one's a little bit too light though. Like, this is one of those ones where you pick it up and you're kind of just like worried that it's gonna break. Let's see if I can get these done in time. I don't know what time it is. What the heck? Still got time. Alright, so all these are too stiff now. It's so sad how fast that happens. It was all wet earlier. You know, maybe what I'll do... No, I don't think I even screw around with that. I think that would be the worst decision to make, actually. Have them flipped over. I think we still gotta do it though. Okay, so what do we gotta do now? I gotta get some clay. Hold on one sec, guys. Bring this down. There we go. And slow walking this out, like peeling an onion. I think too. I'm gonna dump out these trimmings. I feel like the trimmings would be good for a couple of things that I haven't done yet though. One day I'd like to create like a trimmings, like aesthetic trimmings. Alright. We're back. Close in. I love the shape. See that thickness there? Yeah. Bring this in just a little bit more and down a little bit more, and I think we're good. Yeah, this one is beautiful. You seem a little bit. Do I stamp my vessels? No. This seems a little bit. What is it called? Got my train of thought. Darn it. What was I gonna say? Seems a little bit, maybe a little bit thick on the bottom. Maybe that's what I was trying to say. A little bit something. I've never really been into the stamping thing. So I do have some from a while ago, but that's when I first started. I feel like that's like the pottery thing to do, is to make a stamp for your vessels, like, you know what I mean? I'm just not a potter. Yeah, it's a professional potter thing to do. It's not really my. That's not my thing. Soften that edge up. Bring this down. Like like signing things nowadays, it feels more like a brand than an actual like signature. You know, I think so many pottery people nowadays, like their signature is literally just a brand. And then like I think people like kind of idolize like some pottery people, and so that they're not really even, they don't really care about the object. They care more about the signature and the like the artist and the actual work, you know? But, yeah, I guess it does go for all art. I guess I just choose not to engage with that side of things. Probably be a perfect place for you. Work and live. Actually, I barely see other people. That's so funny. And if you don't, and people collect your stuff, they don't know it's my stuff though. There was one comment that I thought was funny. Is like somebody was like, "You never show your whole process," which I think is hilarious because I do. You know, I just will have like weeks where it's just only trimming footage, you know. But anyway, they're like, what do you order your stuff online and you just like They were saying I'm ordering the like the pots to trim, I guess, or something. I don't even know. Like they were roasting me because I'm not throwing. I was laughing. I was like, that's funny because I only like to throw. I think this is good. I think I don't need to work with this anymore. This seems pretty good to me. Actually, gotta remove more material. That's so sad. Not that much more, but just a little bit more. I know, this little lip here is just so hot. And imagine when glaze starts pooling on that edge. I feel like it'll be really nice. I start feeling it pushing a little bit. I think I've reached that thinness. That's the max thinness, I think, before we start distorting it heavily. Okay, let's pick it up and get the feel. Ah, nice. Okay. I feel like the key with a lot of vessels is to get the center of balance up towards the top rim, right? There's no cap of clay here, so it's always going to be kind of more heavy towards the bottom. But if you can really start pushing that up, so it just jumps up, that's usually my goal for a lot of these vessels here. I got 5 more to do. Alright, I can do this, come on. Focus. Because I'd like to be done with these today. I don't even think I'm gonna do... I don't think I'm gonna do handles on these, to be honest. I haven't made just like some cups. I'll try a bunch of different things with these. This series of cups will just be like tests, essentially, for different surfacing ideas I have. this up? And it's weird joining you from abroad? Really? You mean while you're in Sweden, or you just mean like that you're in a different country always? For my colleagues, they're watching some movie. Do you know what movie it's called? I feel like that's kind of cool though. Just having a work trip. Godzilla -1? Yo. And you're watching me instead right now? Bro, for real, you gotta go watch that. Maybe that's not your vibe, but I'm like a Godzilla movie dude. I heard that one was amazing too. I don't know why it's called -1, to be honest. There's another good Godzilla movie called Shin Godzilla. It's a Japanese Godzilla movie. So good. It's like spooky. It's like actually like a little terrifying. Decided to cook some dishes and said, I'm not watching that trash, no offense. No, you're all good. Like for me, like growing up, I always liked Godzilla. He was like cool lizard dude. Actually, there's a couple different ones. There's like a Godzilla creature that had like it looked like an armadillo. And then there was Rodan, who's kind of like a pterodactyl. I like those ones quite a bit. Shin Gods, yeah. And you like -1 too? I feel like they should make more of those Shin Godzilla movies. Right here, cut this in a little bit. And the thickness is kind of evening out towards the top. Alright, we'll be good. Alright, here we go. We're pushing this in. I'm gonna trim this down just a little bit. Alright, I've already reached the thinness. Okay. I smooth everything out now, just hopefully it doesn't warp. I felt like I was getting thin. Like you'll feel it, like all of a sudden your tool is not cutting and it starts being shiny, and then instead of like you're still on the edge, but it's pushing the clay in, like you almost feel the difference. That's a time for me to check. Yeah, for real easy there. I don't want to frickin'... Not right now. I'm kind of on a time limit today. I gotta go to work here in a little bit. Here it is. I didn't see it. I was cooking. And way more chill. Didn't see what? The vessel? Well, I guess we'll tuck this edge in too. So we kind of just tuck that edge in. I'll say that's good enough. Again, getting pretty thin here. I don't sense that you want to cut through the foot today. Yeah, today's a I gotta focus and make sure I don't screw up day. I think too, the nice thing about this is I'll be able to put the terracage on and then smooth it out really nice as well, since these forms are so smooth, you know. I didn't even mark this one. Just watch that movie. Is even asking if you saw the Wandering Earth one, the Wandering Earth Godzilla. No, I haven't seen that one. Like, it's animated. I usually don't like the animated Godzilla stuff. I kind of like I'd rather watch the old ones with the practical effects than watch an animated one. There's something that I like when I see like humans in the movie with Godzilla. It's not a Godzilla movie? Wandering Earth? No, I haven't seen that one. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of special effects, but I just mean animated over, or I like the real life people in it more so than I like the animated stuff. I know that there's, but I'm just saying I'd rather watch the practical effect ones than the animated one. Okay, so we got a lot of material to remove here. Would all these trim to have ribbons? No, none of them are gonna actually have ribbons. These are kind of just like test tiles essentially for some surfacing I've been thinking about. I made a bunch of terracage, so I'm gonna like experiment with sidge and other glazes and experiment with some glazes on these. So they're more of like test tiles. Yeah, okay, real life with animated effects. I can get down with that. But you said it was called Wandering Earth. Let's look into that. You know what, maybe I did see that. There's like this tiger catfish in it. I think I know what you're talking about, actually. I've actually never made matcha. That's such a tiny foot. It's gonna be one that sits alone and doesn't get used ever. Little petite foot. There's a tiger catfish, and it's giant too. It's like huge. I think we're talking about the same one. I'm not sure though. There's a lot of those like Chinese movies with like monsters and demons in them. The monsters and demons always look so cool. Matcha's really overrated, I think. I like normal brewed tea. I will agree with you. Alright, so let's lift this up. Let's re-put those marks in. We still got to remove quite a bit of material off those bottom here. Wow, yeah. Realistically, we gotta remove material here too, but I'm gonna leave it alone though. That was a lot of material I moved off. I think we do gotta remove some material here too, sadly. The story with matcha is that the tea that first came to Japan in the Tang Dynasty, and the matcha reflects the Chinese tea making customs from the Tang Dynasty as a result. Yeah, I remember I read something that everybody says that they thought the tea ceremony was a Japanese started thing, but apparently it came from China first. trimming this foot a little bit different. Or stop the glaze well above the foot. Sometimes. It depends on if I'm trying to be lazy or not, right? Like, sometimes I don't want to even worry about wiping things off and I want to be really quick, so I'll glaze halfway down. But I never do it like aesthetically. It's always like functionally. I'm trying to just like get something finished rather than like aesthetically make something look nice, you know? Sometimes you don't want to do that too, depending on your clay, because think of if you just glaze the interior of an object, sometimes what will happen is that glaze, it's a tighter fit, right? Glaze, so that means it's shrinking faster than the clay is shrinking, right? It's putting that tension on the outside of it, and sometimes it'll break. So sometimes you need glaze around the whole object because it balances out that shrinking on one side to the other. I really like this foot on there though, look at that. Even if we bring this up here, you can see a little foot ring there. Edges. Really like this one. Again, we gotta be gentle with this one. Imagine making your own glazes. I do. I make all my own glazes. I've never bought a glaze, like a commercial glaze, ever. That's my thing. Life and pottery, as it turns out. Yeah, but does that make sense though? Do you use recipes or do you actually make your own? All sorts of stuff. I've made my own glazes and I've done recipes. I've done all sorts of things. I've done triaxial blends where you create new glazes from old stuff. I have CDs of like old recipes from companies that are like way gone, you know, that have all their glaze recipes on it. All sorts of stuff, you know. Yeah, CDs with recipes. Isn't that crazy? It's like one of my favorite things I own is that CD. It's just weird to look at it. I had to get like a reader for it too. CD reader. And this thing is really off center, I feel like. Hold on, let's look at the top. It might be okay. Make a video of that. Of mixing? Or the CD thing? I feel like I have mixing somewhere on there, but I don't really like to mix on camera, especially since it's at my work is where we have all my materials where I mix everything. I mix all the glazes for the studio too. It's pretty easy. It's not hard. It's like baking cookies, yo. Easier than baking cookies. We talked about it in context. For the katana and the blade warping when it's quenched and so on. Yeah. I remember that. Even when you're drying things in ceramics, it's very similar to that too. I'm not against like commercial glazes, you know, I should say that. It's never been an interest to me. Is like, I feel like oftentimes I feel like commercial glazes, they look like commercial glazes, right? And they make your stuff look like pottery. I like the freedom that you can get when you mix your own stuff. You know, you can really make it look like, not like pottery. You can make it look like objects, right? I think we'll be able to get this done in time. All right. Yeah, you know, I'd say so. I mean, I try to I try to I like when metals interact with each other, right? And I like the variations that you get, and I like when crystalline surfaces, right, interact with glossy surfaces. I think that there's something cool that happens when you mix both texture and you mix like metals together, right? I think sometimes a lot of people, they mix glazes that are too similar, or glazes that aren't going to create a new reaction. They're kind of just going to like dilute something. So like, I think a lot of people like to bring like blue, like collide two blues together to get something else, right? But the formulas are too similar where I feel like nothing exciting is happening. I like when there's sort of like a mystery on the surface that happens when you start mixing those colorants together. Sometimes they act weird. That's why you'll see a lot of my glazes. I love copper reds and purples, copper tin purples. You see me use a lot of titanium dioxide and things. A lot of tin and things. Okay, I'm gonna leave the stream now. Thank you for the chill time interactions. Yeah, thanks for stopping in. I'm right there with you, man, with these glazed textures and mysteries. I may not make ceramics anymore, but I drink a lot of tea out of my large collection of cups. I love reds, purples, oranges. Not really much on blue though. Wow. I also agree. I mean, I don't like the blue. I'm against blue. I'm so glad you said that. I'm with you on that 100%. I'd rather take an unglazed cup than a blue cup. Yeah, Yeah, no worries. Thanks for stopping in already. That's nice of you. Enjoy the rest of your time working. Okay, we're just gonna see how this is feeling. If you send me the blue stuff. I love the blue. Oh, I remember you said something like that before. I feel like my favorite pottery colors gotta be brown or green. But I feel like I've been trying to avoid green because my green screens. So I think right now it's a lot of reds, brown, black. I got a lot of blue, sadly. I got a lot of blue recently. But not cobalt blues. More of like titanium or teal floating blues. I'm gonna get freaking warm, dude. I got two. It is so hot in this basement. It's crazy. Would have a fan, but a fan is not a good idea to have in here, to be honest. I think I'll be okay with this one here like this. There we go. We'll be done. Your favorite pottery colors are browns for sure, greens, and also pieces with a mixture of a black, dark charcoal gray, and light gray, off-white. The contrast always gets you. I do like gray glazes, that's true. There's not a lot of really good, like, ways to get gray without kind of, adding some sort of mason stain, I feel like, in it. People like you can add silicon carbide into it sometimes and get some cool stuff. But I think oftentimes grays are, for me at least, are a little bit difficult to get. Nice gray. This is thick. So this, I mean, this is just gonna be. What time is it? Let's say 50. No, okay, we're actually good. We'll be able to finish all of them. Sweet. It's just these two and then we're done, right? I don't have another one. Surprise. Yeah, I don't. Okay. That is epic. Okay, we'll do that. I'm so pumped up then. Great. Very nice. I have this one bowl that was made by my Japanese potter friends. Made a really dark brown clay from Japan with a clear glaze and most of the outside, save for some smears of matte white. Ah, I know I know the style that you're talking about. Yeah, even too, you can attach some like slip onto like a shrinking slip with some uh, magnesium carbonate, and you can get some like crazy crackling on the surface. Almost looks like fissures of earth. It probably breaks, that glaze, that matte glaze probably breaks really nice around the edges to reveal that dark clay. So it's going to be a little bit wider, I think. Oh. Bring some down to let's just lift this up and feel. It's actually pretty close. And then we got one more after this. That's crazy, guys. I'm so pumped up. Yeah, I feel like I like having variety of rings. This actually, I didn't do too many of them. Oh wait, that's getting pretty dry. Okay, this one I gotta. The goblet I need to spray. I need to spray him down. He's getting a little bit dry. Spray bottle, where are you? Thank you, spray bottle. I wish you guys could see my dragons I've been making recently. Oh yeah, I've been making these little dragon. Making these dragons, like whistles, these dragon whistles that are chess pieces. You guys don't know about the project yet, but I can tease the project to you guys. It's like this. I got a friend of mine who's been coming over, and me and her have been making these chess pieces, right? And we're making two sides of a chessboard, and we're making the chessboard, and then we're gonna be doing a battle against each other at the end of it. Oh, you know about the project? Ah. Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of time. Dang. Wait, what? I already talked about this then? How do you remember and I forgot? You didn't talk though, that's funny. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped up. I filmed another session with her on Saturday. Filmed with people before too, and it was a little bit of a struggle, but she's so good at talking, it's crazy. She's like, she makes me look like I'm antisocial, which I am a little antisocial, but like, I feel like I'm like a certified yapper, you know, I like to yap. She can out yap me for sure, which is like really good for, there's not really many dull moments during the video making, so I think that would be kind of exciting anyway. I think I'm gonna be done with this one. Keeping the foot ring a little bit thicker too, right? Like this. Anyway. Set this one down. Now it's into the final stages. This guy here. Oh man, I totally just ruined that edge of this. Here, things are progressing. She sounds like a gem. Yeah, I feel like it's really difficult to find people who first like want to be recorded, right, and are okay with that, and then like second who are really good at talking, you know. Like I think finding like those two things is like really difficult, you know, because I have friends who don't mind being filmed, but they're just not the best like talkers, right? Like a lot of my friends I don't talk to that much. We kind of just like we vibe and we like make things, and I don't think we're really the best talkers. You like that one? I think I know which one you're talking about. I think you're talking about maybe this one. No, this one's more red, but it's kind of similar to one like this, right? Where it's like darker along the bottom. Really like this. This one. You can see I really like the foot ring here. But anyway, sorry. I think there's another one that you're talking about more of. I know, I see it. Yeah, yeah. I can't reach it though. It's whatever. I gotta finish this. I can't get distracted. No, you're all good. Don't worry. Oh, I know what I want to do with this one. I know what I want to do. You know what I mean? I think this will be good. In fact, need to do the same. I'll catch you on the flip side, buddy. Have a good one. Yeah, thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. That's nice of you. Alright. Be kind of nice too, because I feel like this is my last. This is my last one I gotta trim anyway. So the stream's coming to a close here anyway. Boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna be done with this one. This one feels kind of crazy. Yeah. Alright, that's it, guys. That's all of them. All of them trimmed up there. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.